Viewers, it's been an unprecedented April and it seems it's going to be an unprecedented summer when it comes down to the temperatures that have only been but soaring across the country. To break it up, the kind of temperatures that we have seen across India in the month of April has broken all records. Temperatures continue to soar across India and the Met Department says it is going to get worse. While Odisha has closed schools in the wake of a sweltering heat wave, the maximum temperatures in Delhi and many other parts has once again breached the 40-degree mark. The Indian Met Department has issued a yellow alert warning predicting a heat wave spell in Delhi from April 28th. With no relief in sight, some observers are suggesting this heat wave pattern might become one of the longest lasting in recent decades. Some are calling this year the year without a spring. Forecast models indicate that part of northwestern India could actually reach temperatures near 50 degrees Celsius on Thursday and on Friday. All right, viewers, I just want to break it up in terms of just the kind of temperatures that the country's seen across the country. Unprecedented because in April like this, at least India hasn't seen in 50 years. That's the broken record. That's how far out the temperature has soared. Delhi is already crossed the 40-degree mark. We've recorded today a temperature of 41 degrees Celsius. It's actually 2 centigrades later than what we had seen just 2 days ago. Jaipur once again at 40 degrees Celsius. Other cities also looking very close to the 41 to 45 degrees mark. Ahmedabad, Gujarat has marked a 42 degrees Celsius. And this is all happening in April, viewers. Usually this kind of temperature that you see has been recorded in the month of May or June. So what can we expect once May and June actually roll in? Because this already is unprecedented. These are the temperatures across the country. I want to cut across to our badge of reporters who are getting us the latest to get a larger understanding on what is the Met Department saying and how long will this heat wave continue across the country. I'm joined in Delhi by Abhishek Anand. In Uttar Pradesh, I have Samarth with me, Dev Ankur Vadhavan from Rajasthan, Gujarat, Saurav Vakhtania, and Mumbai, Mustafa Sheikh. All right, Abhishek, in Delhi, I know, you've just spoken to the Met Department. What is it they are saying? Because it's unprecedented, this kind of a heat wave this early in summer. Never heard before.
So this is not planning, execution, weapons.
Well, Preeti, in 2010, about 12 years back, the weather department had recorded 11 consecutive heat wave days in the month of April. And after 2010, now in 2022, the weather department claims that 8 days of heat wave have been recorded in this month, which is unprecedented. This is due to western disturbance, but the climate activists claim that the global warming is also playing its part in areas of rain and excess heat, and also a series of western disturbances. As of now, Delhi's temperature today, the maximum was recorded at 43 degrees Celsius and the minimum will be 26. The weather department has issued a yellow alert from 28th, 2 days from now, and the maximum temperature from 28th is likely to hover around 44 to 45 degrees Celsius and the minimum will be 29 degrees Celsius. So this is an unprecedented heat wave. The doctors are suggesting people to not go out during this intense heat wave period of 12 to 3 in the afternoon and stay safe in the shades. Preeti.
Right, Abhishek, stay on with me. Let's cut across right now to Saurav Vakhtania from Gujarat. Saurav, Gujarat breaking all records where temperatures in summer are concerned. Ahmedabad actually recorded a temperature of 42 degrees Celsius today. However, just 2 days ago, it nearly touched the 44 degrees mark.
Well, absolutely, Preeti. And yesterday, the IMD have declared that till 30th April, severe heatwave conditions will be there across Gujarat. The maximum temperature has been recorded in Ahmedabad, Preeti, and that's around 42.2 degrees Celsius today itself. So conditions are very bad, extreme bad conditions, and this will persist till 30th April. Now situation is worse in Banaskantha, Sabarkantha and some of the parts of South Gujarat, that is the Valsad area. The municipal corporation, the hospital in Ahmedabad now, they have done it. They have prepared two separate rooms, dedicated teams. There will be two dedicated teams where person who gets heat stroke or get dehydrated can be treated immediately, because there are number of patients who are coming to the hospital directly, because while they're traveling out in the afternoon, they are actually suffering from heat stroke. So separate dedicated rooms and dedicated doctors have been set up at the civil hospital and other places of the state. So till 30th April, no respite, but the IMD still predict that the situation can worsen in the month of May as well.
Well, you know, if it's already predicted that by the end of 30th of this month, there are going to be heat wave conditions and the situation will worsen at May. All our reporters who are getting us the latest pan-India are reporting that the Met Department, at least in their state, continues to maintain that this is going to be, if one may actually say it, a scorching, terrible summer. Cutting across to our reporter in Uttar Pradesh, Samarth. Samarth, I'm going to lead into the massive power cuts that Uttar Pradesh is facing. But what is the Met Department saying? Is the heat going to let up? Because there have been some thunder showers, especially in Uttar Pradesh. Or it's just passing showers and the heat is only going to intensify?
See, Preeti, in Uttar Pradesh, intense heat waves are mixed with the dry hot winds that are making the things very much difficult for the residents of Uttar Pradesh. I'm in Bundelkhand region of Uttar Pradesh, currently in the Chitrakoot district. I can tell you that the temperature has soared past 45 degrees centigrade in afternoon. And if you talk about the other areas of Bundelkhand, that includes Hamirpur, that includes Lalitpur, it has soared past 45 degrees Celsius. While Lucknow, Varanasi, Prayagraj are somewhere around 40 to 43 and 43 and 44. But the major drawback which has come with this heat wave is the power cut, is the power crisis occurring in the state of UP. Districts including Barabanki, Unnao and various other districts are facing power cut, especially in the rural areas where people are suffering 4 to 8 hours power cut, especially in the night hours and some in the noon hours. So this has become a major problem, because as heat wave is, this is April, you can imagine this is April, and what we expect in June is happening in the month of April. And such power cuts, CM Yogi Adityanath has also directed officials to put a check why the power cut is happening in some districts of the state, and that is the reason why the power cut is being monitored by now, because it has been happening since last 10 to 15 days since this heat wave has crippled the state of Uttar Pradesh. Yes.
All right, Samarth, I want to cut across right now to Rajasthan, where Dev Ankur Vadhavan is joining us from Jaipur. Dev, what is the condition right now in Rajasthan? What's the Met Department saying? Another scorching April, and then the temperatures in May only going to be picking up more?
Oh, absolutely, Preeti. In fact, April seems like June or May this year. In fact, while one was in March, even at that time, one could have foreseen, the kind of summer it's going to be. It's going to be a one, scorching, dry summer that people will have to suffer in Rajasthan. For the next few days, the Met Department has predicted heat waves in several parts of Rajasthan, including Bundi, Dholpur, Bharatpur, Jalore. These are some of the districts which can, suffer from heat wave to severe heat wave conditions in Rajasthan. In almost all the districts of the desert state, Preeti, the temperature has been hovering somewhere around 43 to 45 degrees Celsius. Dholpur, the Shekhawati belt in particular, are the regions which have been suffering severe heat wave conditions. And, the doctors, the experts have advised to carry water bottles to ensure that the body is not dehydrated and that people do not suffer from heat stroke in these clearly, weather conditions which are really sapping the body waters.
Right, Dev, appreciate you joining us. I want to cut across to Mustafa, because the heat wave conditions, of course, terrible for the citizens of the country, but worse as well for the farmers, because this time around, even though, high temperature is good where crop like wheat is concerned, but this kind of high temperature so early will actually result in the grain shrinking where wheat is concerned. So that's a big worry. But cutting across to Mustafa Sheikh joining us from Mumbai. Mustafa, the interiors of Maharashtra reporting exceedingly high temperatures as well.
Yes, as per the warning given by the IMD, the central part of Maharashtra, which has districts like districts like Nashik and Ahmednagar, are districts which will suffer from heat wave in the coming days, and these are districts where agriculture, business is much more, and this also, as you rightly said, is leading to power cuts even in Maharashtra, even in surrounding areas of Mumbai. This morning there was a power cut due to which the water supply would be in a shortfall tomorrow in many parts of Mumbai. So there are problems which are multiplying for farmers and for other people who actually go out for work also, but especially the conditions remain worse in the central part of Maharashtra. Back to you.
Appreciate you joining us. We thank all our reporters. We're going to continue to come to them. It's going to be a terrible summer, clearly. 30th April are when heat wave conditions are going to exist. But the fact is, viewers, there is no silver lining. The month of May is going to be worse than what the month of April was. I want to now cut across that because of the heat. What's also been extremely excruciating are the power cuts. Unprecedented power cuts across the country, be it the national capital or Uttar Pradesh or various other states. As temperatures saw India's reeling under power cuts, rise in temperatures, coal shortage and supply issues, Russia-Ukraine war making coal imports more expensive has resulted in the power crisis in the country, forcing at least a dozen states to resort to power cuts. Cricketer MS Dhoni's wife, who is in Ranchi, also tweeted complaining about the power crisis in Jharkhand. She clearly was watching a match in which her husband was the star in, MS Dhoni, and she tweeted out saying that while she was doing her part by conscientiously saving energy, as a tax-paying citizen, she wanted to know why there was such a deep-rooted crisis. The coal minister has declared that there is no shortage of coal stocks in India's thermal power plants. He also said there's enough stock in the next 10 days. However, different states are reporting a acute coal shortage, including the state of Uttar Pradesh.
के संबंध में पिछले कुछ दिनों से कुछ विद्युत कटौती और तमाम चीजें जो देश के अंदर जो चीजें आई हैं उनको लेकर हम लोगों ने आज इस पर पूरी तरह से आज गहन समीक्षा की है और जल्दी से जल्दी विभाग को निर्देशित किया है कि जो क्राइसिस है उस क्राइसिस का मैनेजमेंट किया जाए और जित भी जरूरत है, अगर कहीं हमें भारत सरकार से बात करने की आवश्यकता पड़ेगी तो हम भारत सरकार से भी बात करेंगे, अन्य पुलों से बिजली देने की जरूरत पड़ेगी करेंगे, उस पर जो भी होगा उसका रास्ता निकाल।
जो नॉर्म्स हैं सेंट्रल इलेक्ट्रिसिटी अथॉरिटी के, उन नॉर्म्स के हिसाब से कोल फील्ड हेड पर जो प्लांट है उसमें 17 दिन का कोयला स्टॉक में होना चाहिए और जो अवे फ्रॉम द कोल फील्ड हेड है उनमें 26 दिन का कोयला होना चाहिए। उत्तर प्रदेश के सरकारी क्षेत्र के जो 4 बिजली घर हैं उसमें केवल 1 बिजली घर अनपारा कोल फील्ड हेड पर है, लेकिन वहां भी 17 दिन का कोयला नहीं है। ओबरा है, हरदुआगंज है और परीक्षा है, वो कोल फील्ड हेड से दूर है, वहां 26 दिन का कोयला होना चाहिए, लेकिन वहां भी कोयले का स्टॉक डिप्लीट हो रहा है और परीक्षा में और हरदुआगंज में तो क्रिटिकल कंडीशन है क्योंकि वहां 1 दिन से 4 दिन के बीच तक का कोयला बचा है।
थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स में टू बी वेरी स्पेसिफिक 20 मिलियन टन लगभग 21 मिलियन टन अभी स्टॉक है, वो 10 दिन के लिए काफी है और हमारे कोल इंडिया कैप्टिव ये सब मिलके हमारे पास अभी 72 मिलियन टन का स्टॉक है। तो लेकिन मैं मानता हूं नॉर्मली इस समय 17-18 डेज का स्टॉक रहना चाहिए।
All right, so viewers, what's really going down? Is there an acute power crisis in terms of is there a coal shortage or you're just not being able to manage the demand at a time where we thought the temperatures are not going to be peaking? I have with me Siddharth Zarabi. He's our managing editor, Business Today. Thank you for joining us, Siddharth. Now, what is it? Because different states are saying that there is a shortage, like Uttar Pradesh Power Minister has said there is a coal shortage. However, when you speak to the Centre Power Minister, he says there is no shortage. So what is going on?
What these states aren't telling us, you and me, is that they have 1 lakh 25,000 crore nearly of unpaid dues to the power producers, the generation companies. And if in a country of our size, and I can take the names of these states, 8 or 9 states are virtually perennial defaulters in a way. If you do not pay these companies, how will you get power in time? And that's the number which these people aren't telling us. It's a mix of factors, Preeti, really, but the biggest one is if you are in a situation where you knew from March the summer is going to come early.
And it's going to be a bad summer.
It's going to be a bad summer. It's proving to be that. Demand is up by 8 to 10%. And remember, demand is up after the COVID slowdown. So you had to prepare for it. Multiple people had to prepare for it. If the generation companies don't get paid, and you know what this is leading to? Remember, in the last 2-3 years, close to 1,20,000 crore, and then a top-up has been given as a restructuring kind of package for our distribution companies. And it's a problem for almost 3 decades. So that's number one reason. There are multiple other factors, but I would lay the blame on this. And the second one, which is that from the period of 2016-17 to 2020, we saw a slowdown in new coal mine sanctions, and that's also leading to some element of shortage. But like I always maintain, the lights are not going to go out fully. I know that there are portions where there is trouble, but let's ask these companies and state governments to come together on the same table and pay up. And if you keep giving free power and not pay the producer, who is going to generate it and sell it?
Well, the citizens are paying and still not getting the power.
Absolutely.
The short end of the stick. Thank you, Siddharth, for joining us and giving us that gyan, because many of us didn't quite realize. Because you would think that you have the coal, yet you do not have the power. The fact is, the problem lies possibly in your state because they really haven't paid their bills. With that, I'm going to go into a quick break. You do stay with me. On the other side is Fact Check segment.